Stampers, this is Josee from STAMPIN and welcome to another episode of Stampin' Gals Gone Wild Wednesday, where Connie and I like to share lots of free ideas for you. So in today's video, I thought I would show you how to make this super cute card. And do you see how Santa is in a Polaroid? I just love those. If you remember those fancy cameras, I know we have some newer types of Polaroids now, but I just love how it looks like Santa is just popping out of that picture. So let me show you how to do that. So the first thing I did is I cut a piece of old olive cardstock to 5.5 by 8.5, did a fold in the middle to make our card, and then I took a piece of Season of Style designer paper from the holiday catalog and cut that as my top to 5 by 4 inches, I guess the other way. Next, I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this was cut to 3 3/8 by 4 1/4, and this is where the fun is happening. So we are going to take some Squares Collection framelits, and this is the 5th one up from the bottom, and it is going to be the piece that is going to cut out a square right about here so that it looks like that Polaroid. So I'm going to run that through the Big Shot using my magnetic plate, that's what it's called, and then I'll be right back. So now that I've run that through, you can see that it makes that perfect square right where I want it. So next we're going to take some watercolor paper, and I'm going to stamp my Santa from Santa's List stamp set. He is so beautiful and so detailed. So we're going to take some black STAMPIN and ink it up really well. When I'm using black STAMPIN, I actually tend to use the ink to the stamp versus the stamp to the ink, just so that I get really nice coverage. And you want to cover that all over, especially with that watercolor paper. It does take a little bit more ink, and we're going to stamp that. Now don't worry where, because we're going to cut him out after we color him. So nice heavy pressure and back up. So the good thing about watercolor paper is it is magical to color with. So we're going to take our Cherry Cobbler marker, and you can actually start coloring off to one side, and we're going to use our blender pen to take that ink and just move it around. You can see how well that gets, and it goes a long way. So you want it to be kind of darker on one side and then keep going. Once you have it all outlined, you can start moving all that color around with your blender pen, and take a little bit of time. It does pay off to kind of work at that color and just start moving it around, and you can see that it'll blend really nicely. When you still have a little bit of color left on your blender pen, you can actually pick a little bit more up. You can start doing his lips. Now for the next step, I'm actually going to use our Blushing Bride marker and do just a little bit on his face. So you're better off to go in the colors, in the spots that have kind of some highlights, and then blend it out. In between blending your colors, you can go on your scrap paper just to take that color off of your blender pen, and then go back and start to work at that color and move it around. Once you're completely done with using the blender pen, you can actually go back if you want and use that marker. And on this particular stamp, you're going to see it has these little sketch marks all over. And I found that if I just add a little bit of color on those sketch marks, it looks really nice and looks almost lifelike. So next we're going to take our paper snips and we're going to cut him all out. Cutting out the Santa surprisingly doesn't take you that long. You just go really nice and close to the edges, and then you don't have to worry about the bottom because we're going to cover that up. So we're going to take back our piece that we have already cut out with the Big Shot, and we're going to take the Oh Goody stamp set. Now this one has 4 different stamps, and we're going to use the Ho 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 with the Real Red ink. And what we want to do is we want to stamp it kind of off to the left-hand side in the middle of this space here. So there you go. We're going to take our Festive Flurry stamp, and this is the smallest one, with our silver ink, and get that really nicely inked up. Look in the bottom, make sure there's nice even coverage. We're going, oh, I got a little bit of ink on here, turn it backwards. There you go. And then we're going to use our matching framelit from the Festive Flurry framelits, and cut that out using the Big Shot. And you're going to see it matches up really well. Once you have that completely through the Big Shot, you're going to find the easiest way to poke those out is to take the extra off and then slowly push that snowflake out of its framelit. Now you're going to see that it's quite intricate, which means it does take a little bit longer than most framelits to get popped out. So you want to be careful a little bit at the kind of the points of it so that you don't rip it. But there you go, look how pretty that is. So all that's left to do is to assemble our card. So we're going to take back our little frame, and we've cut a piece of old olive that's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 that's going to fit right behind. So I'm just going to take a bit of snail and just put it the edges so that it connects that old olive to the back. Just stick it on there. And the next thing we're going to do is just take a bit of snail on the back of my Santa, and we're just going to tuck him right underneath this frame. So you can just kind of pop that up and move it to where you want it to be. So about there is good. And we're going to pull in our dimensionals. Put about 4 of them on the back. Take our covers off and just place that on an angle right on top of our designer paper. Like that. So what do you think? Isn't that looking really cute? Okay, the next and last step, we are going to put our snowflake on there, again with a dimensional. Just put that off to the side. And then pull in one of our rhinestones and put that right in the middle, just to add a little bit more bling to our card. And there you go. What do you think? Isn't Santa really cool in a Polaroid? All right, I hope you enjoyed seeing this video, and don't forget to join us in the Stampin' Gals Gone Wild online club. There's 2 different ways to join: silver membership and gold membership, and you can get the information from both Connie and I. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.